I saw this funny meme circulating on the internet the other day that said, pets are the new children and plants are the new pets. And I really feel like that couldn't be more true for so many of us, particularly the pandemic plant parents, but anyone really. We take care of our plants now the way that we used to take care of pets. And so many people do treat their pets like their children. I know I'm guilty of that. But we need to make sure that our pets and our plants can get along because there are some pairings of pets and plants that can be toxic to our beloved pets. And we would never want that to happen because that will certainly not grow you joy. So welcome.
Welcome to the Growing Joy with Plants podcast, where we not only learn how to care for plants successfully, but how to simply and affordably use our plant babies to cultivate more joy in our lives by doing so. I'm Maria, former plant killer turned happy plant lady, author of Growing Joy, the Plant Lover's Guide to Cultivating Happiness, speaker, podcaster, and most importantly, your new best plant friend. On Growing Joy with Plants, you'll find conversations about houseplant care, gardening tutorials, and wellness through the lens of plants. Plant care.
Hello, plant friends. Welcome back to Growing Joy with Plants. So happy to have you returning. If you're returning, welcome home. Honored to be part of your plant parenthood journey. If you're new here, I'm Maria, the host. I'm here to help you care for plants successfully and grow joy in your life by doing so. And what is more joyful than having both pets and plants? I personally have a pet budgie, a pet parakeet, my little bird, who you've probably heard in the background of a lot of these podcasts, because it's as if the minute I click record on these podcasts, Frankie, my budgie, starts chirping away. But a lot of people have pets that might get into plants, like a dog or a cat that might eat a leaf or might paw around. And there are actually plants that are very toxic to pets. And I've seen a couple of different scenarios happen. Either someone has plants and they get a puppy and they get a baby kitten, and all of a sudden they realize that some of their plants are toxic and they don't know what to do. Or the other way around, they already have pets, they want to get into plants, they buy a plant that's toxic, they're so scared. And so I wanted to dedicate a whole episode to just a few things that you should know if you have pets and plants. So before we dive in, this is a disclaimer. This episode is meant to be a suggestion. Before bringing plants home, do your own research, consult with the ASPCA or the Pet Poison Helpline. You could call your veterinarian if you have questions. So, this is meant to be a resource, but not the definitive guide on pets and plants. But I've certainly learned a thing or two. And also know your pet, right? So we're going to go through different scenarios for different pets and plants living together. I know people that have houses full of toxic plants and their pets have no interest in them. And so they feel fine having toxic plants and having their dog or pet or cat run around and feel good with them because they know that, it's not in their pet's personality to bite or munch on plants. There are other pet parents that have to keep all toxic plants away because their pet will eat anything that they bring into sight, right? So the other grain of salt to take with this episode is know your pet. Some of these things will apply to you and some of them won't. But the goal of this episode is to leave you at the end of it more informed with more ideas to help you strategize for how to successfully have your plants and pets coexist happily together, because that's the goal, right? We're growing joy here. We're not growing stress with plants. That's not the title of the podcast. The title of the podcast is Growing Joy with Plants. And nothing can be more stressful than having a dog, take a bite of a monstera and not know what to do. So first off, we're going to go into a couple of strategies for how to deter your pets from your plants. But let's go into some lists of super toxic plants. The most toxic plants out there, and this is by no means a definitive list, but most of the lily family, the sago palm, a lot of philodendron, a lot of pothos, a lot of peace lilies are toxic to plants. A lot, and also toxicity can mean a certain different amount of things. Like, yes, there are some plants that will cause organ failure, but a lot of plants will cause a numbing of the mouth and itching of the mouth. There's different levels of toxicity. So the ASPC website is an amazing resource for looking up exactly how toxic a plant is for your pets. But know that, a lot of the common houseplants that we have, particularly monstera, philodendron, pothos, those are toxic to our pets. So you got to be wise about it. Now, Here are some ideas that I've heard from either my friends, members of this community, or ones that I've used personally on my plants that I think are amazing. So if you already own monsteras, philodendrons, and you have a pet and you don't want to get rid of your plants, but you want to kind of organize your room and your life in a way that deter your pets from your plants. You have non-toxic plants, but you don't want your pet up in your plant's business, right? Like those are two different, very valid reasons for having your pets away from your plants. No one wants to come home to see that their dog has like dug up an entire house plant. I've seen so many photos on the internet of like people that have full birds of paradise knocked over with all the soil spilled because of their pets. So let's go into some ideas for how to deter your pets from getting all up in your plant's business. First off, the easiest one is to keep your plants out of your pet's reach. Hang them, put them on the top of bookshelves, use wall hangers that I have. You can use macrame hangers, but like suspend them from curtain rods. Get your plants out of your pet's vicinity. And provided you don't have like flying squirrels as pets, ideally that will solve your problem. Keeping your plants on the floor is obviously going to be the easiest way for your pets to interact with them. So getting them off the floor, out of their reach is the easiest, simplest way to deal with this. Now, if you have nibblers, if you have pets that like to have a little nibble, they like to explore, they like to taste whatever you're bringing home, this is where you can really have issues because a lot of these plants are toxic to ingest them. So a way to deter that is there's a great product. It's a spray. It's like an apple cider spray pest deterrent. We'll link to it in the show notes. You can get it on Amazon. It's very affordable. I bought some for my sister who has a dog and a lot of plants. It's a spray that you spray the leaves, and the dog and cat don't like the taste of the spray. And so when they go to bite it, they're not going to go to bite it again. It's kind of like if you've ever chewed your nails and you've put like that chili oil on your nails to deter that. So you can use a spray. If you have diggers, if you have pets that like to get up in that soil and you come home and there's soil all over your floor and your plant has been totally unpotted, there are a couple of really interesting ideas for how to manage that. Number one, you can get river rocks and put them on the soil. So a friend of mine who has cats puts river rocks on top of her soil, and she says that her cat's paws don't like the way that the river rocks feel. You could like go to your local river or, to a beach and get a bunch of stones and do it that way. Or you can order them on Amazon. I ordered a bag of river rocks on Amazon for the YouTube companion video that I do to this podcast episode. But just cover your soil in your planters with river rocks. And then when your pet goes to paw at them, they won't like the river rocks, or the river rocks will kind of be a way of saying no. You could also spray those rocks with the apple cider spray as well. You could also put aluminum foil on top of your soil. Pets do not like the way aluminum foil feels under their paws. Aesthetically, I don't know if that's the vibe you're going for in your house. I think river rocks would be a little bit more of an aesthetic, but maybe even putting aluminum foil under the river rocks, that could be another way to deter pets. On an episode that I did with Bree on how to deter pests from your outdoor garden, she said put aluminum foil or the sponge, that like bristly sponge on the top, and that will deter them. They don't like that. Another thing that you could do is take a bunch of toothpicks and put toothpicks in the soil sticking up so that when your pet goes to paw it, the toothpick will deter them. Ideally, the toothpicks aren't going to be thin enough that they could actually get into your pet's paws. But I've seen people make like a little line of toothpicks, almost like a little fence that keeps their pets out of their planters. I thought that was very interesting. And then last but not least, you could make a pet-free zone in your home where all of your plants are. So maybe it's your office that your pets aren't allowed in, or maybe you have a plant room if you're lucky enough, but have a closed off area that your pets know that they're not allowed to go into, that the door is always closed. And that's where you keep your plants, and you just kind of keep your plants and your pets separate.
The summer brings tons of opportunities to give gifts, whether it's for weddings, graduations, showers, anniversaries, holidays, and what better gift to give someone you love than a personalized Wind River wind chime? Plus, you don't need to leave your house to shop for one. Wind River chimes will deliver the most magical, most thoughtful, and personalized gift straight to the door of your beloveds, because when you use the code GROWINGJOY at checkout, you get a free engraving on any engravable wind chime, so you can personalize it for your loved one with a special saying, a memorable date, or a name. For over 35 years, Wind River Chimes has been passionately pursuing harmony by delivering wind chimes that help create a peaceful, soothing, and restful environment. And now that we are in the swing of gardening season, enjoy the perfect gardening weather with the perfectly calming and inspiring sound of wind river chimes. Every night in the summer, I sit on my balcony garden with a drink, just listening to the chimes in the wind, looking at the stars. It's a freaking dream, and it makes an amazing gift for yourself or for someone else. So all you have to do is to go to windriverchimes.com and use code GROWINGJOY at checkout to get a free engraving on any engravable wind chime. They have options of colors and sounds. You can just go on the website and click through and listen to all the beautiful sounds. It's so relaxing. Get it engraved with that personalized name or anniversary date or special message. Head to windriverchimes.com to listen to all of the melodious options and use code GROWINGJOY for a free engraving.
Did you know that the EPA estimates that Americans apply 90 million pounds of pesticides every year? And that every year the ASPCA receives tens of thousands of calls involving animal companions who have potentially harmful contact with insecticides, weed killers, and other garden hazards. If you have pets, you likely want to make sure that you're using high-quality organic plant products that are pet safe, and that's where Espoma Organic comes in. Espoma Organic is a 90-year-old family-owned and operated company dedicated to making safe indoor and outdoor gardening products for people, pets, and the planet. They have an entire Safe Paws guide to help you understand how to have a happy lawn and happy, safe pets. You can download it on their website. All of my houseplants and my entire outdoor garden is planted in Espoma's line of stuff because I know that the high quality organic materials are safe for me, safe for my pets, safe for my lawn, safe for the earth, right? I particularly love their line of organic houseplant soils and fertilizers. If you have pets like dogs and cats, I highly suggest using them. Whether you're gardening indoor or outdoor, Espoma has the fertilizer, the potting mix, the garden amendment, the lawn care for you. Plus, they're a family-owned and operated company that has a huge commitment to the planet with 100% solar-powered plant, zero-waste manufacturing, and eco-friendly packaging. To learn more, go to espoma.com and see where your dealers are, or you can go to the show notes and check out my Amazon storefront where I have a curated list of my Espoma favorites. So obviously you can use these different ideas based on what type of hesitation, reservation you want to take when kind of organizing your plant collection around your pets. My bird, Frankie, lives in my office, and in my office, I have a ton of toxic plants, but Frankie could not be less interested in my plants. I actually will put him in the plants sometimes just because I think it's so cute to see him look at, in his original jungle state. But I'm not worried personally about my bird and my plants. There are some people whose birds might go and try and munch on the plants, and they're going to take all of the toxic plants out of their office. So once again, like I said, this episode is just a bunch of ideas. It's not prescriptive. And I just hope that it gives you a couple of ideas to try out. Particularly also, I have a bird that's a lower maintenance pet. But when you have dogs and cats who are like on the ground with your plants, getting into everything, I hope that these ideas help. Now, I also didn't want this episode to be negative. Obviously, there are a bunch of toxic plants that you shouldn't have or that you should keep out of reach of your pets. But there are so many pet-friendly plants. So I put together a list of 10 plants that I love. We also have a YouTube video where I walk you through all of the different plants and I show you the plants in case you haven't heard of these plants before. But there are a ton of amazing pet-friendly plants. So the spider plant is one of them. I've heard stories of people who have spider plants and their cats actually like to play with the little baby offspring that spring out of the spider plants. But those are non-toxic. Ferns, a lot of ferns are non-toxic. The African violet is non-toxic. There are non-toxic palms, the Failla plant, Christmas cactus, peperomia, Hoya, the money tree, and prayer plants are all plants that have so many different species. I mean, you could have an entire collection of Failla or of peperomia and have an incredible plant collection and not even ever have to worry about your cat or dog getting into it. So you can absolutely have pets and plants that live happily together. And if you want to be the most reserved and you want to get rid of all of your toxic plants, there's tons of non-toxic plants that you can bring into your house so that you can still have your beautiful planty aesthetic and have your pets feel safe. So this is a super short episode just because I get a lot of questions about this, but besides organizing your plants so that, your pets can't interfere with them, and then also choosing non-toxic plants, there's not much else to say. The ASPCA is an incredible resource. The Pet Poison Helpline is an incredible resource. I highly suggest you going and checking them out. We're going to link to them in the show notes. If you have dogs or cats and I missed something, I would love to hear from you because I don't have dogs or cats. So a lot of these ideas I've sourced from listeners or my friends who have plants and dogs and cats. But if I miss something, let me know. You can comment on the post for this episode on Instagram and share your feedback, or you can go over to the YouTube video that is associated with this video and comment on that. Share your information. If I can, I'll provide an update. But I hope this was helpful. DM me pictures of your pets. I love seeing pictures of your pets and plants, whether you have dogs or cats or birds or iguanas or whatever type of pet you have. You know, there's something biophilic about connecting with plants and connecting with pets. So this concept of biophilia, it's that we as humans are hardwired to feel at ease around other living things, whether they are plants or whether they have pets. So it makes sense that I feel more relaxed because I have my bird Frankie in my office all day. It makes sense that when you pet your dog, you immediately feel happy and relaxed. And it's the same way that, you know, you feel at ease when you're surrounded by plants in nature, if you're on vacation or if you have, you know, an amazing plant collection. So I just think this biophilic effect, you know, how much joy can we bring into our lives? We can have plants and then we can double the joy with pets. Double the plants, double the pets, double the fun, double the joy, growing joy. What other word should I say right now? No, honestly, I hope this was helpful and that this episode helps you keep growing joy with your pets.
Plant friend, thank you for tuning in today. It means so much to me that I get to be part of your planty journey. If you like what you heard, make sure you're subscribed to the show so you never miss an episode. We have so many incredible interviews and solo episodes on incredible houseplant and gardening topics that you will not want to miss this year. And while you're over there in the podcast player subscribing, why don't you click over to the review section of Growing Joy with Plants and leave us a review. Reviews are tremendously helpful for the growth of the podcast, so thanks in advance. If you're looking for more opportunities to grow as a plant parent with Growing Joy content, we've got so many options for you. First, I highly recommend you taking the Plant Parent Personality Test. It's free, it's super fun, it takes 3 minutes to complete. At the end of the test, you're going to get your Plant Parent Personality profile and a curated list of plants, projects, and podcast episodes that are right up your alley, tailored just for you and your lifestyle, inspired by your results. The links are in the show notes. If you're looking to uplevel your plant parent game, I have so many free downloads on my website that I think could help you, like the Understanding Natural Light download or 9 different ways to green up your office space. If you'd like to support the show monetarily and help me bring the show to as many people as possible for free, you can head to our Patreon link in the show notes to learn more about our offerings. And finally, I invite you to come hang out with me and continue the planty conversation on social media on Instagram and TikTok. I'm Growing Joy with Maria. My DMs are always open if you have requests for topics or ideas for the show. Thank you again for listening. It is truly my honor and delight to help you keep blooming and keep growing joy.